This is no ordinary rock. This little rock took me 3 weeks to design. 3 whole weeks. How? I'll show you how. I just can't think of anything that could possibly work. Okay, forget it. Let's do something else. How can I make a rock? How can I make an rock? It was an innocent enough question. Little did I know the trouble it would cause me. The premise of the rock was simple. It needed to be around 3 studs tall and around 5 or 6 studs wide. No problem. But I didn't want this rock to float above the ground level, and this created the first real challenge. Studs would obviously prevent me from seating parts flush with the ground surface. I could certainly get rid of some of them, but I needed at least 2 brackets to hold the tile on the front. To make things even more difficult for myself, I didn't want the front of that rock to sit flush with the front edge of that tile. My second big challenge was in not creating some bloated monstrosity. I wanted edges and corners to be clean and tight. A lot of the difficulty in this task came from not being able to stud into the top halves of the slopes I was using due to cut corners, and I was removing more and more studs from the ground surface in my attempts to work around this. Connecting left to right and front to back wasn't too much of an issue, but connecting the top half to the bottom half, that caused me some grief. I tried building the faces as panels and connecting them all together, but this looked a little too chunky for my liking. Taking the ground out of the equation allowed me to make some actual headway, kind of awkwardly connecting the front and back together via the side panels, with the rear panel connected to the ground by one single sort of stilt. I figured this would be enough, as gravity would do most of the work keeping it in place. Just don't breathe on it too heavily. My final challenge came from the tiles I'd placed under the sides of the rock. As I'd removed the brackets, I now had the tiniest of gaps showing between the rock and that front tile. Most people would probably let that go. It really was barely noticeable, but no, that's not how I roll. So the tile was now half a plate depth forward of everything around it. Brackets and headlight bricks allow things to be placed in half-plate increments, so I knew they'd be part of the solution, but it still took me a long while to work this one out. So the next time you see this little rock in my build, just remember,